question unanswered is how does this compare to an Australian rally?
I said, well, Classic Adelaide had some rules, here you have none.
Here's Mexico, so...
There are no rules.
In a first for the teams from down under, all 5 cars have started and finished every stage of a day. After 6 days, more or less, on the road, this is what it's all come down to, the final day. Teams ready themselves at the overnight headquarters, the Marriott. After a week from hell with the FJ, Dave Ryan hardly expected to still be in the running.
That's exactly right. There was a point last night when we went out with the Mexican crew, we thought we might not be here too.
It's been an experience, hasn't it?
Oh, sensational. Absolutely sensational. You just can't describe it. You have to experience it. It's just sensory overload.
I expected the chaos and I expected everything else that goes with these sort of events. And of course, this is typical of any rally, really. But in another country, in like Mexico, makes it a bit more difficult because obviously different cultures and they do things a bit differently than us. And road rules are. They're basically the same, but just a bit wild, on the wild side.
It's certainly been an adventure. It's been an adventure of good because you're likely not to come back and do it again. But at the same breath, you've seen things that you don't normally see. You don't come here to see this. You come here to do it, and you go, oh, now I'm seeing this as well. This is the extra part. That's the big part.
The 5th outright on the long stage in the rain was really probably the highlight of the whole thing thus far. That was good to get in there and mix it with the Studebakers.
Well, we got this far. We just got to make sure we can pull it off and get to the end. We got a little trophy. KC got his. Everybody's got a smile on their face. It's Mexico.
The final run today is from Aguascalientes to Zacatecas in the north. In all, 300 kilometres with 6 speed stages en route. Stages 2 and 3 race in and out of La Congoja, winding up and down the hillside before first service. La Bufa is the final 16k stage, in and out of the last service, before cars descend into the World Heritage listed City of Silver to the finish. Transport to SS1 is 54 kilometres en route 22, through Visa Juarez, heading towards Asientos. Ian and Val have been reseeded at 21st car away. They lead the Aussie assault and set a time of 6 minutes 22 seconds for the 14-kilometre stage. Joe and Christine are 20 seconds behind in Gypsy Wind.
All over and just hoping we get to the end now.
Len and Gail have a medical card directly behind them. While it might not seem immediately obvious, safety is paramount to organisers, and every 10 competitors, a medico races off in stage.
So we have to be in an accident before 8 minutes. That's our top time.
It's not a method used down under, but like many things in Mexico, it seems to work. For a reason best known to the Mexicans, Len and Gail leave before the Callanans, who finished higher yesterday. They start behind the Mercedes of Olaf Casado and manage to haul the Mexican in. Bag of Nails starts even later. Amongst some slow cars, KC will have to pass.
We're going to have Volvo for lunch.
Okay, no problem. We'll let him try to catch us.
That's going to happen.
And it does, along with the old Ford of Victor Esquivel.
Right. And a 2 left long.
The FJ is still smoking, but importantly, still running. With some encouragement from the local kids, Dave and Greg are on their way. The transport to SS2 is another 50 kilometres away. Len is perplexed with the Mexican Mercedes he passed in SS1.
And the bastard of a thing's got just as much front as this has, in a straight line, but goes around the corners a bit nicer. I had real drama with this bloke, and he's just whipped around and passed me again in the transit, so... But that was a stage that probably suited a bit more horsepower, but Jesus Christ, the old Benz goes friggin' grouse. That's a nice car.
The run uphill to La Congoja winds and twists around the edge of the hill. Ian and Val lead the way by just 4 seconds from Joe and Christine. Once again, KC is balked by the Volvo and Fairlane. He's another 4 seconds shy of Gypsy Wind. Eventually, even the rare spares FJ appears to the delight of the Aussie supporters. The return speed stage reveals a spectacular vista.
Good view.
Beautiful view.
What is it?
Left here and then left one, clear.
The road clinging to the hillside, weaving back and forth to the valley below.
God, this is terrifying on the old bloody brakes.
Short right and then left one, clear. Oh, we'll just do a slow stage, doesn't matter.
Yeah, no. I won't be racing, babe.
Swanee is quickest down, 3 ahead of KC, with Joe and Christine hot on his heels. High above the canyons that form the Prisa-Caziz Reservoir, eagles soar. The crested Carrera has been a constant companion through Mexico and further highlights the diversity of this adventure.
Fantastic week. Can't believe it. I wouldn't have missed it for quids. Had so much fun, seen so many different places. We've had so many experiences and adventures. You just couldn't... It's going to be very, very hard to describe it all when it's finished.
And it nearly is finished. La Carrera has just 3 stages to go, including the infamous La Bufa. But before that, duty calls.
There you go, girls.
For Ralph, his 7th trip to La Carrera is just as special as the first, even under the pressure of fixing race cars.
You see all different parts of Mexico, different cultures, different people, and everybody is just helpful. So it makes it special because of the people and the places you see. And then you have the opportunity to drive like a maniac everywhere.
It's a 40k dash to the start of SS4, and again, weather is playing havoc. It's certainly raining for the Swans and the Cordos 5 cars later. But by the time the Callanans line up at position 62, the weather has cleared. Or so they think.
Oi, babe, it's wet. The roads are wet. Well, that was a bit disappointing in the rain.
Considering everyone else would have got the drive.
Oh, well, can't be helped.
Doesn't matter, bud.
Doesn't matter.
It's no different for Dave and Greg, but they're probably just thankful they aren't in a convertible. La Bufa is the hill that surrounds Zacatecas. The final 2 stages in this marathon road race run up and down a hill, meaning the comic. Ian and Val set a cracking pace in Subaru. Gypsy Wind is on the home run. After a week of competition, Joe and Christine are still the only team to have started and finished every leg. Only 2 to go. But there's nothing comical about La Bufa for the Cordos. Incredibly, the car that has caused the least problems all event, and even had to be driven from the US border across Mexico to the start, suffers a broken steering knuckle. Joe was powerless to do anything about it. Len and Gail are next through, but there's nothing they can do either.
Left 2 with a right 3 and it's long.
That's Joe.
Oh, great.
The Callanans' time is just 2 seconds slower than the Swans, but all that counts for nothing. The final blow in La Carrera has knocked out the only remaining Australian entry to finish every stage.
I'm not sure whether the steering box pin's broken or something. I'm not sure. But anyway, we'll see what happens.
Oh, I'm disappointed, guys.
Very disappointed to do what we've done and to finish up with the DNF in the last stage, about 10 k's from home.
Worse than that, Joe and Christine will not make the official finish downtown. The final stage is back down La Bufa. Ian and Val bring Subaru home inside the top 10. It's the end of a turbulent week of ups and downs for the
And a
Aussie
right
teams,
two.
but an experience hard to imagine.
And a left one.
You're done.
Thank you. And a right one. This is our left. And a right one.
You're done.
Well done, Casey. Good driving.
Thanks, babe.
Well done.
For what it's worth, Gabriel Perez is the first car into Zacatecas, collecting the winner's trophy for a second time in a row.
It's better than the last year, you know, because you make it double in 2002 and 2013, so it's great. It's great. It's a great feeling to win this race.
They say winners are grinners in motorsport, but perhaps in La Carrera, grinners are winners.
Fantastic.
Very good.
Yes, very good.
Yeah, very happy.
Mexico has thrown everything at the great race this year. Even the weather has been unpredictable. It's been an adventure, experience and education from start to finish. And with the post-event party atmosphere setting in, perhaps there is still more to learn. Viva La Carrera!